Whenever a child goes missing, time seems to freeze for the people who love them. Days stretch into weeks, weeks into years, and every phone call feels like it could finally bring answers. Families hold on to hope, even when logic tells them not to. And sometimes, when that hope finally seems rewarded, the truth that follows is far darker than anyone imagined. That's exactly what happened in one of the most unsettling missing person cases to ever come out of the United States. A case where the miracle ending wasn't a miracle at all. In the early 1990s, Nicholas Barkley was a teenager growing up in San Antonio, Texas. His life at home was tense, and people around him later said he often clashed with authority. School wasn't easy, and neither were family relationships. Arguments were common, and his behavior had begun to worry the adults in his life. Things had escalated to the point where Nicholas was expected to appear in court over disciplinary issues. But he never made it there. The night before his court date, Nicholas went out like he normally did, playing basketball with friends in the neighborhood. When the game ended, everyone headed home. Everyone except Nicholas. He simply vanished. At first, his family tried to stay calm. Maybe he ran off to cool down. Maybe he was scared of the trouble he was in. But as hours turned into days with no word, panic set in. Police were notified. Flyers went up across nearby counties. His face stared back from bulletin boards and shop windows, but no solid leads came in. Nicholas had disappeared without a trace. As months passed, hope slowly gave way to grief. Still, the family refused to fully let go. Somewhere out there, they believed, Nicholas had to be alive. Then, 3 years later, everything changed. In 1997, the Barkley family received a phone call that felt almost impossible. Authorities told them Nicholas had been found alive in Europe. A young man claiming to be Nicholas had turned up in Spain. For a family that had waited years for answers, it sounded like a miracle. Against all odds, their son was coming home. Arrangements were made quickly, and soon the young man was on a flight back to Texas. Cameras captured the emotional reunion as the family embraced him, tears flowing freely. For the world watching, it looked like a missing child story, with a rare, happy ending. But almost immediately, things felt off. Nicholas's mother noticed it first. Her son didn't look the same. His hair color was different. His eyes weren't the color she remembered. When questioned, the young man had an explanation ready. He claimed he'd been kidnapped, trafficked overseas, and abused for years. According to his story, his captors had dyed his hair and even altered his eye color to make him harder to identify. He said he'd finally managed to escape, leading Spanish authorities to find him. The story was horrifying, but it also explained why he seemed so different. Wanting desperately to believe, the family accepted it. Still, not everyone was convinced. Some relatives quietly questioned whether this was really Nicholas. And outside the family, a few people began to look closer. One of them was a private investigator named Charlie Parker. From the moment he heard the story, something didn't sit right with him. Charlie had worked enough cases to know when details didn't add up. The idea that kidnappers could medically change eye color raised red flags. And despite the trauma the young man claimed to have endured, his behavior didn't fully match what Charlie expected from someone who'd lived through years of abuse. Charlie started digging. He compared old photos of Nicholas to new ones of the returned boy. At first glance, the resemblance seemed close enough to fool grieving relatives. But Charlie wasn't looking at hairstyles or expressions. He focused on something people rarely think about. Unlike hair or weight, ears don't change. They're as unique as fingerprints. And when Charlie placed the photos side by side, the truth became impossible to ignore. The ears didn't match, not even close. That discovery cracked the case wide open. The young man living with the Barkley family was not Nicholas Barkley. He was an imposter. His real name was Frederic Burdine, a 23-year-old Frenchman with a disturbing history. Authorities already knew him well. He had spent years impersonating missing children across different countries, slipping into families who were desperate for answers. Interpol had even given him a nickname, the Chameleon. According to reports, Frederick got the idea to pose as Nicholas after someone remarked on a vague resemblance. From there, he built an entire identity, complete with a traumatic backstory designed to silence doubts. When investigators confronted him with the evidence, Frederick's story fell apart. The family was devastated. The joy they'd felt just days earlier turned into shock and humiliation. How could they have believed him? How could no one have stopped this sooner? For them, it felt like losing Nicholas all over again. But the nightmare didn't end there. After being exposed, Frederick made a claim that stunned everyone. He alleged that the Barkley family had known he wasn't Nicholas from the beginning. According to him, they played along to cover up something far worse, the idea that Nicholas had been K***led years earlier. It was a shocking accusation, And while many dismissed it as a desperate lie, Charlie Parker wasn't so quick to ignore it. He believed every angle needed to be examined, no matter how uncomfortable. Charlie began re-examining Nicholas's past, his behavioral problems, the family tensions, the events leading up to his disappearance. Rumors started circulating online, with some people speculating that an argument might have gone too far. But speculation is not proof, and despite Charlie's efforts, nothing concrete ever surfaced. At one point, he even searched the family's property, hoping to find some physical evidence that could confirm or disprove the claims. Nothing was found. Tragedy struck again when Nicholas's uncle, Jason, one of the few relatives who had openly questioned the imposter's identity, passed away suddenly before he could share everything he knew with investigators. His death only added another layer of mystery to an already disturbing case. For some, it deepened suspicion. For others, it was just another heartbreaking coincidence. In the end, Frederick Burdine was exposed as a fraud, but the biggest question remained unanswered. What actually happened to Nicholas Barkley? Despite years of investigation, no definitive evidence ever emerged. The family continued to deny any involvement in his disappearance. Authorities were left with theories, unanswered questions, and a case that refused to fully close. To this day, Nicholas has never been found. No remains, no confirmed sightings, just a trail that goes cold after one ordinary night in Texas. And while Frederick's deception shocked the world, it also highlighted something deeply human: the lengths people will go to for hope, and the dangers of believing too much when the truth is too painful to face. Charlie Parker never fully let go of the case. He continued searching for answers, convinced that something important was still missing from the story. Whether Nicholas ran away, met with foul play, or something even stranger happened, the truth remains buried. And that's what makes this case so haunting. Not just the imposter, not just the lies, but the silence that followed. Some mysteries fade with time. This one refuses to. And until real answers surface, the disappearance of Nicholas Barkley will remain one of the most unsettling unresolved cases in modern history.